Hello and welcome. It's Kate Griffiths here from Whole Self Leadership, and I'm jumping on today because I want to talk to you about the first chapter of our new book. Here it is, How Not to Be Afraid. And I love this book, and I love this first chapter because it gently brings us into the topic. So the big takeaway for me were two things. The first was, we are not the stories that we tell ourselves. And for many years now, I haven't been watching the news. And you may think that that's a little bit remiss. But think about it. What kind of stories are on the news? What's the emphasis on the news? So often it is fear-based about what's wrong in our world, what's not working. And if that is what you're feeding yourself with, it's going to have an impact on your system because we are energetic beings and we are impacted by by our diet. And our diet isn't just what we eat, but everything that's in our environment. So I think it was a really good reminder of that. If you're not feeling hopeful about the future, seek out all of those amazing stories of things that are shifting and changing. The one bit of news I do read each week is through the Week magazine. And at the beginning, it shares 3 good things that are happening. And I love that section because it's really positive. So there are lots of ways around that. So it's something to think about. See that red ticker tape going across the TV screen. Again, all the headlines. Are there any positive news stories there? Because those that create the media and those that create the news know that we're hardwired for negativity. Good news stories don't tend to sell well. That's why we don't have them. So that's the first thing I wanted to share with you. And the second, which is really the essence of the chapter, so perhaps where I should have started, relates to the spritzer I'm going to share with you first. So it's this one. It came up in one of my sessions with my clients this week, and it's the fire spray. So you may have already had a reaction, positive or negative, towards the bright orange colour. But I absolutely love this spritzer. It smells of neroli, which is one of my favourite scents. And fire is a purifier. I know that from personal experience. This morning in my Qigong practice, I've had a bad back for a week. And actually doing the fire poses helped my back to settle, which was fabulous. Fire also, in terms of the colour essence, has another energy. It's about giving you the courage to speak your truth. And the chapter starts with a quote from Mark Twain, which goes something like this: courage is not eliminating fear, but overcoming your fear. So there's a subtle difference there. It's about living with the fear. And I wanted to share a story with you from my own, experience. The story that came up for me when I read that quote. Courage is the mastery of fear, not the absence of fear, is the exact quote. I just had to check that. So what do I mean by that? Well, here's my story. Many years ago, I was running a leadership development program for PwC with the top 50 directors from around the world, and we were based in Poland. And we took a weekend out to do some coaching and leadership development work outside the classroom, so to speak. We went to this place where they had a rope walk, where you could do the ropes, like Go Ape or something like that. I thought, yep, I'm going to do this. I've had a fear of heights all my life. So I get vertigo and I feel this tingling in my feet. Anyway, I got up there and I started doing the rope walk, and I hadn't got very far and I could feel the fear and it was paralysing me, and I was like, I've got to do this because I'm one of the instructors, one of the coaches and facilitators on this program. If I give up, how does that look in front of everyone else? So saying all these things, but I couldn't. I just was completely overcome by the fear. And in the end, I had to get down. And I did feel bad about not actually accomplishing it. And then, a year or two later, I was on holiday with my family. I've got 2 daughters. And they were very young at the time, maybe 6 and 5 or 7 and 6, something like that. And my youngest was really plucky and she wanted to do this rope walk. And the other one was really up for it, and it was already up at 8 feet with her dad. So I was with Erin. I knew that she got scared and that she was also an empath, so would be really tuned into my feelings. So I was like, no, I've got to do this. And I still felt the fear, and I did it anyway. And it took every ounce of faith and trust in my body, and there was sweat pouring down my back. But what got me through, and the difference between the 2 experiences, was the love of my daughter and wanting her to succeed. And that meant more to me than anything. So I led the way through, and we had to have 1 or 2 hairy moments where one of the instructors had to come and help us because I did get completely stuck and paralysed. But we continued and carried on, and we finished that rope walk. And the feeling I had when I completed it was amazing. So that's what this book is talking about. And that's why I like this book, because it takes a perspective on fear that resonates with me. Just, sometimes it's right to feel afraid. That is the real honest situation. And fear can keep us safe. So it's not that fear is the all bad reptile. It is, how do we learn to live with fear and take it into the core of our being whilst not letting it overwhelm us? So I'd love to know what you think about the first chapter. And if you're part of the book group, feel free to leave some comments in the chat. And I look forward to meeting you all on the 20th of January and getting stuck into this book. And for those of you who are not there, I hope you enjoy this as a way of following along with the book. Go well. Bye for now.